What's up, NDL? Feels like it's been a long time since we've seen you guys. Hope everyone enjoyed their extended break. I know I did. I'm Coach Sammy33, one of the hosts on the Outliers. We've got the two co-hosts, Mr. Vic. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. How's everybody? We done had a good holiday rest, and now we're fully back, and now we're about to be back in the swing of things in the NDL.
I don't know about the full rest part, but we can go with that. Uh, Doc,
Some
how
of
are
us,
you,
some
sir?
some of us, some of us.
I'm good. I am rested, so I'm looking forward to being back at it.
Not gonna lie, I'm really looking forward to being back at it right now too, because I we were talking pre-pod. Um, I know that it was talked about in the chat earlier in the week about some, I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. May have been Chase playing Expedition 33, which by the way, that's going to be the game of the year next week when they do the game awards. But I am a big RPG fan. Octopath Traveler Zero came out. I had to wait an extra day because it got delayed because of the weather. So it is sitting on my desk right now. As soon as this is done, booting it up, and I'm playing until I fall asleep. So without further ado, let's talk some NBL. but before we actually get into what's going on, a couple things I want to ask you guys. One, I know it's quite the entertaining chat with the extended time off. There's a question for you guys. Not so much, I mean, I think it's kind of been beat up enough in the live chat about how people feel about it, but what did you do to enjoy your extra week? Or whichever one of you guys wants to answer. Like, what did you do with the extra time besides work?
I took extra days off, so and I laid around and did absolutely nothing, which was the best thing ever. We did get
Uh,
snow, so I did have to shovel, but I mean, other than that, I did nothing.
Oh, thank God I live in the South. Uh, I went during the Thanksgiving, right after Thanksgiving. I went back to my hometown for the weekend. Actually, brought my game and played a game. Was able to get a game in. Um, I during this break, I done got like a couple scrimmages in, but for the most part, enjoyed it. Like any other break, so it does get boring, and you wish you played the game, but you got to enjoy the breaks while you can.
yeah, I hear you on that. Well, the good thing about it though is, it's December 5th now. We're going to ratchet things back up. Everyone's jumping into conference play, and we'll have some interesting stuff going on with every conference, not just the SEC. So, or if you're good, we don't have to just talk about them. The rest of the league will get some love too.
Please don't bring that up to Mort. Please don't.
I want to shake this man's hand. He needs to come to the convention. Just wanted to mention for those of you that enjoyed your break and maybe didn't boot up the game like myself, there was a title update this week along with another ratings update. Nothing major with the ratings from what I saw. If anything, just a couple of downgrades, but it didn't look like anyone like super important. And then the title update, most of it fixes or adjusts some things in terms of the AI offline. So it doesn't really affect us too much. But just know when you boot up the game, if you don't have it on automatic download, expect an update. And yes, you're going to have to check your rosters again. So EA definitely making us do some work. So like I have to just do it before every game anyway. So forced to have it. That said, let's jump into some NDL talk. So the top 25, the polls are open now. And if you haven't, you should probably do them because they're due in the next, 6, 7 hours. The voting aid is nice. And there's also, if you look at the NDL announcement, someone posted a visual aid to go with the voting aid too. So definitely check it out. Super, super helpful. NTX, you're killing me, man. Uh, but let's talk about what we had in the previous results. So in terms of the G5, there are only two teams in the top 25. Washington State sitting at 19, they're 20th in the media poll. Boise 21, they're 25th in the media poll. And then in the next group of teams up, East Carolina is at 28, so they're knocking on the door, but not quite there. Air Force at 33. I mean, I like the number 33, but I'm gonna guess that maybe those were Alabama votes by accident. I'm not sure, some of them, or we just really like Air Force, like good coach, love the guy. Um, but that's not the question I want to ask Vic. I'm coming to you first. I feel like you probably have a great answer for this question. So, was there, in terms of G5, were there any teams that you were surprised that were left out? Or is there a team that you think maybe should have been on your radar? And I'll give you the floor, sir.
A team that should have been on the radar that uh, went ahead and voted in this week was Buffalo. Actually, I missed and not did them the last block, but this block I made sure I voted them in. I did my vote about a couple of hours ago. Um, I'm surprised that ECU hasn't made it in yet. They did make it into mine personally last block and this block. After the North Carolina State win, I was very impressed. Still impressed. I still think that now, since the most of the out of conference has settled, that ECU is definitely on track to have a great season for one, and a shot at the CFP, and may get more than maybe higher than a 12 seed, because we have to talk about some of those guys in that American Conference that's also doing well. So he may be higher than a 12 seed if he goes through that whole conference.
That's a good answer. But I feel like you may be leaving a team out. You sure you don't want to expand on that some more?
No, no, we'll say that for later. Nope, not at all. Say that for later.
All right, Doc, I'll come to you then. Same questions. Do you feel, are you surprised that any of the G5 teams were left out? And were there any teams on the radar close by that weren't listed?
Yeah, I'm super shocked that East Carolina wasn't um, in the top 25, especially again after that win of North Carolina State. I thought for sure they would be in there. They made my top 25, so but I was just surprised that they weren't. The other people that are on my like the radar, um, I Western Michigan, Buffalo, again, UTEP is kind of a surprising team. Um, just kind of going through them, I was kind of surprised at how well they're playing. But just Buffalo being 4-0 and Western Michigan being 4-0, those are the ones that surprised me the most.
Yeah, I will double down on Buffalo and Western Michigan. I think it's cool because I know we talk about Chip a lot, and rightfully so in the MAC. But one of the big things that usually has to get brought up when you talk about a playoff spot is not just a team playing well, it's the rest of the conference playing well to build up the equity of that conference when you start to have those discussions and compare resumes. So
Yeah.
seeing two teams in the MAC be undefeated and just cruising through out of conference play early on, very impressive. And we'll get into the conference games and then we'll get to see some of those teams do battle, and the schedule in theory will lighten up because you're playing equal or lesser teams. Oh, it's going to be a really fun thing to watch. Um, I'm not really surprised that those were the two teams that were in the top 25. East Carolina will get there. I'm pretty sure they're going to be there in the next one. I'll just wait until we get later on to talk about another one of these teams. But before we do that, we should probably talk about some of the results from Block 2. 'Cause it's been a while since some games have been played. It's like kind of it felt like everyone went on holiday because you had a big gap where nobody was playing. You got one game in a day. So let's talk about some of the games we saw. One that definitely caught my eye. I didn't get to see any of the game, but just looking at the stats and the score, you could kind of piece together the story. Coastal Carolina over Army 49-39. You're thinking like, oh, well, that's a nice win, 10-point win. But you need to read in between the lines to see what happened. Coastal was down 17 at the half. And then in the second half, just the third quarter by itself, a 28-0 run to take and seize control of the game and take care of it from there. So I don't know how you guys feel about momentum, but I feel like when things are not going your way, they tend to go bad and stay bad. But kudos for Coastal to be able to buck the trend and turn a bad first half into a really great second half and get a big win for his school.
I
Yeah,
totally
good.
agree.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You good?
No, I was just gonna say I totally agree, and I think that um, Gary, the Coastal Carolina coach, he's not afraid to throw it. And when he's down, he will throw it on you, and he's really good at it. And it showed. Um, but the stat that I look at that surprises me the most about this game is the 500 yards of offense that was almost perfectly balanced with Army in the running and passing. Like you ran for 250 yards and you threw for 250 yards. I think that's pretty impressive. Um, you know, with that, you think he would control the clock a little bit better, and but it just when you look at it like that, and then you look at what Coastal Carolina did, that's pretty impressive, especially if you're running the ball that much and you are, but you're giving up that many points. So it's pretty impressive. I thought so.
Yeah, very impressive. Yeah, that's one of those rare feats. You had 500 even of total offense, 250, 250. Uh, you might not hit that feat again for another like 2 seasons because it was just so down the middle. And what most likely happened is most of that running attack happened in that first half to gain him the control of the game and have that lead. But then, second half kickoff and momentum going towards Coastal's way, and it went downhill from there for Army. But it's definitely hard, especially in the first half, and especially since a lot of us don't see it. The triple option is very hard to stop, especially
Yep.
when you don't see it. I know they say that in real life, but it's like that on the game as well because you really don't see it. So it takes you by surprise sometimes. So of course, a few runs are going to slip by, and a few huge gains, and first downs here and there are going to happen. But once you settle in and really lock in on the option game, then you'll be okay to stopping it. But it's hard to adjust coming out the gate against a triple option attack.
Yeah. As a Nebraska fan, I can attest to that. When you're only seeing it maybe once a year or once every 2 years, the big key word on defense also starts with D, discipline. And it's hard to be disciplined because just your instinct is to go. Like you're so used to just handing it off to the running back or a quarterback keeping the ball. You're just like, see ball, go get the ball. But you have to be disciplined. You have to play your role. Otherwise, you're over pursuit or just trying to make a play instead of doing what you're supposed to do and just your job, your role in that particular play ends up costing you big yardage.
And
And
it
that
definitely cost him in the first half, but he did adjust in the second half.
and speaking of adjusting, a fun game. A little bit closer in this one, a 2-point game. Memphis getting a win against a Power 4 school in Central Florida. Mr. Lewis Jokers has been doing pretty well with 4 touchdown passes. Smith, the star of the show, 7 receptions, 180 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So Memphis did have that tough game against Rope, where the game got disconnected. They had to try to piece together the finale. He loses that one, but a big bounce back win here against a power school. Memphis got to be feeling good going into conference play. What do you guys think of this one?
Jokers always has a high powered offense, and this is no surprise here. CJ Smith, if you guys recall, was the Bolitnikoff winner of season 33. So he's back to doing Bolitnikoff winner type stuff. 180 on the receiving end and the usual couple touchdowns. He is hard to stop. Like I said, that offense is hard to stop. He's going to put up 30 almost on anybody because that offense is definitely hard to stop. But glad he was on the right side of luck this time because he was on the wrong side against Mississippi State. Glad to see him on the right side of the draw this time against UCF.
Yeah, I think the American Conference is going to be a fun one this year. There's a lot of good teams, and they're going to be fun to watch. I think you're going to see a lot of these close games. Um, but anytime you get 4 touchdown passes and your receiver catches the ball for 180 yards and gets 2 of those, it makes for a fun game.
Yeah, I I can't add anything more than that. Great offense and 2 good showings against power schools. Because you had a good showing against Mississippi State as well too. So
Yeah,
one of the best defensive users in the league. Offense still humming, and now you head into conference play. I definitely feel like Vicky should probably lead the way on this next game.
Yeah. We have the next result we had was from Southern Miss and App State. Southern Miss gets the win 45-35. App State does his usual ground and pound, but in this case has 3 turnovers. Braxton, the QB for Southern Miss, has 300 yards and 3 TD passes. A lot was said at the end of this game. I tuned in to the second half and got a big FU, the hardest FU that anybody has ever spoken to me a day in my life. Uh, I was the 50 Cent meme. If you know that meme, that was me. That was me. Um, and I noticed that he DM'd you, Sammy, and you too, Doc.
yep,
Would you guys like to share? And he DM'd me too. It was a
yeah. No,
whole
I
bunch
mean,
of
he said he has receipts. That's what
he
he.
has
That's what he said.
receipts. He has
And
receipts.
you know what? Good for him though. Like I'll eat my crow. I thought for sure that he'd get run on, but he came out and Braxton threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, and that's not a small feat against Brady. Like I give him a ton of credit for what he did, and like I said, I mean he's one that I have that's knocking on my power ranking top 5, even with that one loss. I still think like he showed a lot in that game, and he won when he could have probably folded it up at some point, but he didn't, and that was a big win. A big win.
Oh, we was the motivation for not
That's
folding
it.
up
I'm
the
happy to
next.
be somebody's motivation.
We were the motivation. He listened to us and he responded with a big win. Big, big, big win.
Hey, I'm all for that because I'm if it helps motivate you to play better or to get a dub, I'm all for it as long as you're not in Conference USA. All for it. But it's especially after how we started last season. We were talking about this pre-pod. Last season, it was the out of conference, and the season before, it was the out of conference. The struggle just getting out the gates, and kind of. I don't know how you guys view out of conference, but I look at it as the conference games are the really important ones, and not to say that the out of conference aren't, but I want to be playing my best football going into conference play. So I need to figure out everything that's going on with my team, what I want to do, primarily maybe in the cover and scrims, but at least in the out of conference so that I'm at my best going into conference play. And that has been the struggle, just getting into conference play in good shape. And this win and how he's played his last couple of games, he's sitting at 3-1 right now. So I can definitely say he's got it figured out, and he just has to keep the momentum and keep it rolling through conference play. But I will say this, App State. So we don't have it in our outline because he also played Penn State and lost to a little bit of a step back. We're going to talk about him a little bit later on. I'm not worried about App State, but looking through the lens of them, a little bit disappointing to come out in the conference play and lose your first game. Do I think he'll bounce back? Yes, but not the way that you wanted to start your season, given how he
Yeah.
finished last season.
Well, if you take out the conference loss, he started last season the same as he did this season, but in this case, he has a conference loss, which he didn't have last season. So I know he'll bounce back. He definitely bounce back for sure. But being that he went undefeated and was hyped up in the preseason, he's gonna get everybody's best shot. So he definitely needs to be prepared for the rest of the conference slate. It is different owners, different coaches. I'm sorry, different coaches. It's definitely different coaches this time around. So it's not the same coaches that he faced off last season. So definitely need to adjust and see what he needs to do to be successful. I'm pretty sure he's gonna do it, but he needs to go ahead and have a game plan to start doing that.
Well, speaking of game plans, someone has a good one working, and that's in the Mountain West. Fresno State, another team last block that pulled off a win against a P4 team, knocks off North Carolina 39-35, and it was behind a big fourth quarter. He was down going into the fourth, outscores the Tar Heels 22-7. And the star of the game, Richie Anderson. You want to talk about efficient? How about 5 catches and 3 of them being touchdowns? 110 yards total. And Fresno, they get the win. They are 3-1 so far on the season. Big win.
Good win.
Definitely shout out to Rashawn Luke, his running back as well, putting in work and being a lynch pail for that offense. Tutty is translating his offensive coordinator skills into the game, and it is working perfectly.
All he had to do is get away from that terrible school in the Big 12, and everything is right back on track for him. Love to see it.
Uh, oh, that was a shot.
Well, I'll be nicer because my favorite result of the entire block, I am more than happy to talk about. So much so that I actually watched this game today. I had to watch it back when I saw the score because I didn't believe it. Western Michigan, talked about them a little bit in the teams on the radar in the top 25. They're 4-0, and one of their wins was against Hawaii. And you guys are not going to believe the score, 15-10. Like that's easily less than probably half the league scores on average in a game. 25 combined points in a game and just 2 touchdowns in the game. A defensive game. You still had a couple of explosive plays mixed in there as well, but it felt like more of old school football. The ball's getting moved, punts, turnovers, just not scoring points on, every 2.5 minutes. It was actually a really fun watch and man, impressive on both coaches because Western Michigan has looked good. I know Jeff Daddy's in the middle of the basketball season, but we know he's an offensive guy. So to see both of these guys combine to have a low scoring game, odd, but a really fun game to watch.
Bet you that was a good game. But my question would be is how do you think as a poll goes, with that score, how do you think that's going to affect Michigan State or Western Michigan?
Probably not going to affect them at all because a lot of people, I think, are going to tend to favor with Sammy's reaction to that game. It was like, oh my God, we got defense.
Yeah,
So I think it's going to be in favor of him actually,
I hope so because it
especially
was
especially if
surprising.
he especially if he puts up more defensive efforts like that.
oh
If he
yeah,
puts Yeah, if he puts up more
yeah,
defensive efforts like that, that's going to stand out more than anybody's 50 points.
right. But I'm like, for those who use the, the voting guide, right? Like you see a score of like 15-10, and like, I mean, what it doesn't affect how I vote. I feel they're a good team. So, but like, just seeing that score, and when you're looking at records and things of that nature, like it's the one thing that I've always never understood about the NDL is like, how do people, when they vote, like how much time do some people really put into it? Do they look at a score and go, oh, 15-10, he's 4-0? You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things that I've always wondered. And this was kind of
Yeah,
what I thought would be a good time to ask, because I don't think scores like that should affect people. And, but you know, does it?
you want me to be honest with you, you want me to lie to you.
I want you to be honest with me.
I don't even think half the people look at these scores, to be honest with you. When they're voting, I think they look at the records on the screen, on the voting screen, and go from
Yeah.
there. I really
Okay.
think that. I think they go for that, or they go for people they know, or hey, this person got to win. That's why it's on us and game day and Drew and Beer and BBB and everything like that. And PTD is on us to spotlight people so we can have, get them going.
Right.
Because I don't think many people are going to see that score in general. But those who do see that score and those who are veterans of the league, like I said,
Yep.
they're going to have the same reaction that Sammy did and be like, hey, he's playing defense. And if he
Yeah.
has more efforts like that the rest of the season, that's going to stand out and that's going to get him talked about in the live chat, which blows everything open once you create a discussion in the live chat about, somebody and somebody's play style. Once they see that, once everybody sees that in the live chat and through us and everything like that, then they'll start voting for him or whatnot. But
Yep.
I feel like the people that do look at the scores or do go back and look at games, they're gonna see that score and be impressed and are wondering, can he do it some more down the line? And if he can repeat that and stay undefeated, then he's gonna get noticed a lot quicker than just putting up 50, 55 points a game.
I want to add two things to that. The one thing I wanted to like, I get where you're coming from, Doc. 'Cause I feel like, especially in the NFL, like points are sexy. So higher
Right.
scoring games just naturally draw people to it more because it's deemed as more exciting because you're seeing points being scored. You're probably seeing big plays happen more often. I'm more of a defensive guy. It's probably because I'm a Buccaneer fan, so I grew up on defense. So seeing that really excites me, and it's rare. It is really rare to see that in this game cycle with the way that defense is. Like it's clear the game is more geared towards offense. It's going to be harder to generate turnovers. Well, maybe not turnovers, but in general, it's just going to be harder to stop teams in order for, stop them from putting up points. So whenever you see that happen, like just my eyes just immediately, like it gets my brain going, like I'm seeing this and like I get excited because it's the different type of chess match. It's not that we're going blow for blow throwing haymakers. It's a boxing match where we're going to go the full 12 rounds, and it's all about just trying to get the points and keep you from getting that a 10 in that round, as opposed to trying to go for the knockout every round. Oh,
Yeah.
it's exciting for a different reason. And I had to look at the schedule. He doesn't play Buffalo because that was my first thought when you brought that up. Like, will he get an opportunity to play Buffalo in the regular season? Not in the regular season unless they both can play in the conference championship game. But we'll have to see how some of those other offenses look in the MAC, and we'll see what he can do. But he
Yeah.
definitely that definitely caught my attention and was really cool to see in the land of you know people averaging 30 plus a game.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think it's awesome too. I'm a Steelers fan, so I like defense too. I can't play it, but I enjoy seeing good defense. But it's just one of those things where it's when people are putting up all these points, they kind of relate points to play, and that's kind of where that came from me.
Fair enough. Um, Vic, I'll let you talk about the next one because you're the red zone of the NDL. So I caught the end. I didn't get to see all of it, and you definitely could speak more on this.
Well, it was a barn burner for sure, and almost an upset. Tennessee 41, South Florida 38. It built up. It wasn't the normal shootout of a game. It really built up. It was kind of low scoring that first half, and then the second half, the offenses took over. The Brown and Nimrod connection was unbeatable, especially in that third quarter going into the fourth quarter. They scored two touchdowns back to back, two long catch and run touchdowns. Vegas, though, locked in, stopped him when he needed to, and then had a clutch drive to end the game on a field goal. Um, both offenses played well in the second half for sure. Like I said, it built up. It wasn't a normal shootout. It just built up, but just a well-rounded game being played between two really good users. Like they are. I love playing Vegas. I've told you guys about Jordan before. Love playing him. Like both of these guys are great users. So I guess some people were shocked by it, but I really wasn't too shocked by it. I maybe was shocked by, how close this was throughout. It wasn't like a comeback situation. Um, it was just back and forth, but two great users, two great coaches, and look out for South Florida. That's all I gotta say about that. The American potentially can be loaded now.
Yeah, I mean, you got South Florida and Memphis and East Carolina all doing things.
Got
Uh,
Temple. You
Temple and
got
Charlotte.
Temple,
Temple.
yeah, yep. But it's so I didn't get to see this one. So it was just kind of like a back and forth. Nobody ever got too far ahead. Nobody ever got too far
No,
behind.
nobody ever
Wow,
got
that's
too far
impressive.
ahead. Yeah, never got too far ahead. Jordan was actually the one up in the back and forth, and then Vegas got a couple of stops. He locked in and clutched up on defense when he needed to, and got a couple stops and was able to have control at the end. But it was basically back and forth throughout. Nobody was too far ahead of each other, and like I said, it built up slow. It was like a build up. It wasn't boom, 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 boom. First half is 35-35, and then we're having a slugfest second half. No, I think it was 17-14, I believe, at half, and then it built up from there.
Yeah. Wow. Shame I missed that one.
Man, Vegas is an interesting coach. Like we, poke fun at him from time to time because of the whole uh, the matchups with Jiggy. But I kind of look at Vegas as a I don't want to say a Bill Belichick style coach, but I feel like on defense, I enjoy watching him try to figure out like when he goes into a game, he has that mindset of what does it take for us to get the win? Not we're going to play our style of football. Like, what is your best weapon? Can you beat us without him? So the fact that Nimrod had a really good game was surprising to me because I thought that he would be able to kind of factor him out the game and force the ball to go elsewhere. That's kudos to Jordan. We'll be watching Vegas to see what he does during the season in the SEC, that loaded conference, but a really good showing against a really good coach for South Florida, and now they're going to go into conference play with some confidence. You hate to go in with a loss, but hey, confidence is confidence. And speaking of confidence, I know one thing for a fact: Troy's defense and Middle Tennessee's defense clearly have none. It's whatever the lowest it can possibly be is negative infinity is clearly below zero.
Below
It
zero.
is easily below zero. The final score was 66 to 56. The
Gee,
teams combined for almost 1,400 yards of offense. And when they rarely did, but when they got on to third down, both teams converted well over 60%.
dang.
So we had the Western Michigan Hawaii game, which was 25 points. I mean, these guys were putting up 25 points a quarter, and it was just the defense was just I don't know what was going on in the game. That was another one that I had to go back and look and say, huh. It actually got a DM from one of the users who was just like, I don't know what to do with this defense. He was so frustrated. Like I could see why. Um, just wow. So we have the polar extreme in games last block. How do you guys feel about this one?
That is insane. That
That's
much. I mean, 1,370 yards. I bet you it was a fun
that's
game to
that's
play.
that's that that's a lot of points and that's a lot of yards. And you converting third downs at 60%.
60%.
I know that had to be a backbreaker every time they converted on third. Like, yeah, I got him the third and 11. I got the first down.
How the hell do I get off the field?
Man,
Let them score. That's it.
Touchdown's got to come before I get off the field.
yeah. At some point, you got to be like, yeah, I'm going to just let them score on this one. I'm
Yeah.
gonna, I'm gonna just
I'm just
try to
going to
get
play
a
my
stop.
defensive
I'm
line.
gonna just try.
Well, let me ask you guys a question.
Jeez.
If you had to choose, and if you're in the chat, you're welcome to chime in as well. Would you rather play in a high scoring game where it feels like you have to score a touchdown every possession? Or would you rather play in a low scoring game where it feels like getting a first down is a huge deal, not just for, obviously potentially getting points, but field position? If you had to choose one to play in, not to watch, but to play in, what would you rather play? Doc, I'll go to you
Low
first.
scoring.
Low
Low
scoring.
scoring for sure.
I'll take low
Yeah.
scoring because my defense been ass. So I'll take low scoring. I'll take low scoring.
But I
I,
mean, it's the opposite effect, right? Like you're playing in a game where on offense you feel like you need to score every down, but now you're playing in a game where you feel you need to get every stop because it's so valuable.
yeah,
You know
Yep.
what I mean? In a 15-10 game, can you imagine how like holding on to that lead, what that last drive would have been like? Just kind of like I can't let him score, and I think that's a lot more nerve wracking than worrying about throwing the ball down the field and trying to score to get that next point. I think holding leads in those close games are just so tough.
Yeah. Um, Ant Rains is chiming in the chat. He says that he prefers the lower scoring games where every down is a fight.
Yep.
I'm gonna agree with you with everyone on this one. My favorite two games from last season, like it was a bad season, but my favorite two games against Miami and against Virginia Tech. And the reason why is because both defenses played well. So it felt like, man, getting a first down was huge because that potentially could flip the field as long as we could protect the ball. Like it felt like every third down was such a chess match. Like, what can I call to maybe get the user out of position, or what can I call, or what look can I give that I haven't given that might be able to generate a first down? Or is there something that I already did earlier in the game that I can play off of to kind of force a look to get someone open? Like it's just the opposite effect versus, man, like on offense, it's just I can come out and I'll find someone open. I'm not even worried about it. I'm just worried about not converting. Because I know if I don't convert, that may be the game, and it's only the second quarter. So it's a very different dynamic. It's very interesting to watch. So
Yeah, I had both ends of the stick last season. And they was basically my two most important games. The game against Tuddy in Colorado was a drag out defensive battle, and then I had the 109-point shootout in the bowl game. So it's like I like the defensive part because it's like you're what you're trying on defense is working. Like especially during that part of the season, that was late in my season when we played, and it feel like finally you're doing something that's working on defense, and you enjoying that.
yeah. Oh man. Very interesting dynamic in some of the block two results for sure. So it was cool to see the polar opposite ends of the spectrum. Another game, and now we're going back to, staying with the high scoring games. We had Temple against UMass. Temple,
No defense in this game either.
well, definitely no run defense in that
Yeah.
game.
Nah, nah. I saw this game and there was no defense at all. The clock was the defense. The clock.
um, Crazy game by Ducker. Two almost 300 yards rushing on 15 carry, 286. And the thing about it is, you're thinking like, man, probably just stiff arm, half, six or seven broken tackles in the game. 78 of those yards were after contact. So that's letting you know over 200 yards were just pure blocks, finding holes or being able to make people miss altogether. He had three touchdowns, and very quietly, Temple is 3-0. No real fanfare. Hughes, new coach to the league, not really drawing any attention, but off to a 3-0 start. So that's another feather in the cap for the American and out of conference play.
Yeah. And I think we need to watch for Drucker because he had 286 yards in this game and he has 423 yards on the season. So, to get the majority of those rushing yards in those three games coming from that game, I think he's going to start putting that work in on and running the football.
Shout out to Ducker. I had him in the last game in NCAA 25. He was at Sam Houston State. He's a transfer from Sam Houston State.
Oh, he's about to get some. Ant was a part of that game. He's like, yep, no run defense anywhere, just outrun. Those are some of the worst games to play on defense, and because you're just like, it's either what you're calling isn't working, or you just aren't. Your players are just overmatched. Whether it could be the blocking, like you call a play and just the blocking is so good, no one can break free. It's blocked perfectly. Like the offensive line does their job, and you're already in the second level, and you're just hoping that someone can at least slow them down. so that maybe someone can come help make the tackle. Those are really rewarding runs though when you're on offense because it's like, man, it's you couldn't draw it up any better. The blocking was perfect. Like we don't have to work super hard to get the yards. No stiff arm, no spin, juke. Just 5 yards, 6 yards before you have to worry about what to do next. It's really nice to have happen. And then our last result that we want to talk about from block two, Pitt and SDSU. So this has
This is
become a coach rivalry because they've played, I believe, the last 4 seasons now. It might be three. I think it's four because I think twice between SDSU and Miami last season, this season. Um, super cool game to watch because their games are usually close. They come down to the wire, and Dealer takes this one. Defense coming through with 2 interceptions after he breaks the tie at 31. 2 interceptions in the last 3 minutes to preserve the game. Doc, did you get to watch this one?
No, I
How do you feel
didn't,
about it?
and I'm super bummed that I didn't have the chance, but um, I was really looking forward to this one. I have, and one of the reasons why is because I have San Diego State this block, so I was kind of hoping to get some film there, but I didn't have the opportunity. But I was excited to see that it was a close game. I thought San Diego State might pull this one out, but they didn't. And but it looks like it was a good game.
Yep, I'm always pulling for the Aztecs. Let down there, but still a fun game to watch, Vic. Um,
Good win with Mason Heischel with the helm.
He buckled up. He buckled up.
Yep.
Let's just say, let's just say I got a DM about that comment too.
oh man. Well,
Definitely buckled up on that one.
those are
And the game after too.
yeah, I didn't want to bring that up, so
You
I was
know, you
trying to be
know, you know, we can move on now.
fair enough. Well, we'll talk about from kind of our takeaways to this point in the season, varying between 1 to 4 games played, depending on what's going on with people and when they have their buys scheduled. So just a couple of things that stood out. One, we're gonna take a step back to App State for a sec. So a tough loss to Arkansas. They were in that game. The game against Penn State, basically, it looked like the Spider-Man meme, except instead of Spider-Man, maybe it was Venom and Spidey because Penn State, just has more talent on their roster, but two coaches with a similar mindset. So you lose that one, you lose to Southern Miss, you have 6 turnovers in this block and go 0-2. So a little bit of a step back. And as you said earlier, Vic, this is what he did last season, especially out of conference. So my one concern with App State last season was, man, I'm watching this run game. It's really good. But what happens if it gets slowed down? And I'm not saying slow down in terms of, stop, because that's not happening so far. It's the now we can get you to third down and force you to have to pass the ball. What does the passing game look like? That was my concern with him last year, though I think that Coach Brady's a solid passer. But the turnovers definitely caught my eye, raised the eyebrow. What are you guys thinking of App State right now? Are they taking a step back this season, or is it just a slow start and once conference play gets rolling, we're going to see what we saw last year? What are you thinking?
I think we're going to see what we saw last year. When you're looking at the 6 turnovers, he did play Penn State, so there's probably going to be a little bit more turnover in that game than there would be anywhere else. So I I think that he's going to be just fine. I think he's going to be just fine when it's all said and done. he'll be there at the end.
Yeah, he's gonna be fine. Like I said, he just gotta adjust to what to the new coaches in the league. But as soon as he adjusts and has a game plan and executes that game plan, then he will be just fine. Just keep running the ball, ground and pound. A lot of people, like you said earlier about patience, a lot of people are not patient, but he is, especially with that ground attack. So just keep running the ball, keep doing what you're doing, and it's gonna work itself out. And he's gonna turn it around.
I think he will too. He definitely the conference loss hurts. It's not so much because of who we lost to. It's just the fact that he lost that all. And Coastal so far has been looking pretty good. They're 3-1. Their offense is looking good. So they already have a conference win. So you're behind the eight ball there, but they will play because they're in the same division. Um, Bruce Bagel's got a good offense. Glizzy a good offense as well. So I think the competition is going to be different, like you said, in comparison to last season. It's just the turnovers. The turnovers hurt for a couple of reasons. One, it can kill the momentum in a game. Two, with it being so off, like he's going to play a style of football that's going to lead to fewer possessions. So those possessions matter just a little bit more. If you're only going to have, 6 possessions versus 8, you got to do more with those. So turnovers, they can hurt, especially with the type of offense that he runs. It puts so much pressure on stopping the run that it can help create some easier looks in the passing game. I do think he'll get back, but that is the one stat that I'm going to be watching going forward is the quarterback TD interception ratio. If he can keep that good, I think he'll find his way back to where he was last season in the conference championship game. And then we talked about the MAC a little bit earlier too. Buffalo and Western Michigan, both 4-0. They both look really well and out of conference play. Andy with Buffalo, that offense, high powered, his running game's going to go. And if you guys haven't seen in the graphics channel, he's got his running back there as a tank, and he's definitely looking like it because he's just running all over and through defenses. Western Michigan, new coach, chops look really good, 4-0. He was really happy to get them in the draft because he didn't think that he was going to have a lot of options in terms of who to pick. He did. Looks like he made a good choice. Good so far. And then, Chip, I know he struggled with the Michigan schools. I mean, losing to Michigan is definitely nothing to be disappointed about. That was a tough loss. Michigan, they're a good team on the game. Post game with Michigan State. As a whole, how do you guys? I know we kind of talked about the American earlier on in this episode. How do you guys feel about the MAC? Could they be the top G5 conference this season, or is this something that still remains to be seen?
I mean, it remains to be seen, but they are top heavy when you look at Central Michigan, Western Michigan, and Buffalo. With Kent State behind, no disrespect, no shade to Kent State. Kent State is right there too, but those teams there, they are very top heavy. I feel like the American is going to be very deep because you got Temple, USF, Memphis, ECU, and of course a few others that's going to shake out. I think Charlotte got a Power Four victory as well. So I feel like the American is going to be the deep conference, but the MAC is going to be top heavy.
All right. How do you feel about that, Doc?
Um, I kind of feel the same way. I think, just kind of looking at some of this stuff, as I'm looking at the standings here, you have East Carolina 4-0, Temple at 3-0, Charlotte 2-0, Memphis 2-1. Navy 2-2. But then once you get past that, everybody else is either 1-2 or 1-3. And I think when you look at it, they're both kind of top heavy. And I think as the season goes on, they'll kind of start. One of them will break from the other, and we'll have a true leader here in the next couple weeks. I feel like the top heavy in the American is about the same as the top heavy in the MAC, and I think that it will shake itself out once we see a couple more games here in conference.
Yeah, I'm really curious in the MAC to see what the middle of the conference looks like. I think I agree with you guys. But 'cause I wouldn't say the American, like it's known quantities that goes a little bit farther than what you have in the MAC. You'll have a lot of I feel like there's just more questions in the MAC. Like Buffalo,
Yep.
Andy's had success. Chop is looking good right now, so he could be. I don't want to put any pressure on him at all because he's very quiet in chat. But Chop is having a great season. It's his first season in the league. There's probably another four-letter name for a coach that comes to mind that did that last season. So we like to see how he finishes out this season. But I just feel like the when once you get from those top coaches in the MAC, like okay, then who's next? And it's a group, and there's a lot of uncertainty with that group. I just feel more confident in that group of those coaches in the American because you've got what I think we probably all expect Jokers to be in the running at the end. We're probably expecting Pirate Flag to be there as well. Jordan, Hughes, that will be four. And then when I look at some of those other coaches, they've had successful seasons. Isis has successful seasons. He's looking good so far at 2-2. Buckeye at UAB's 1-3 right now, but this has had success in the MAC. So I just feel a little more confident with that middle group. So as we start to see things play out in conference play, I'm really curious to see where that group in the MAC, who those guys are, and how it looks.
Yeah. And I'm looking at like their opponent's record as of now, and the American has a pretty strong like South Florida's 1-2, but their opponent record is 21-16. Um, Navy, they're 2-2, but 16-22. But then when you look at the top side of the MAC, it really there's a huge difference on the top side. Like Buffalo's opponent record is 8-20. Western Michigan is 7-23. UMass right now is 17-11. So not to take anything away from Andy or Chop, but their schedules aren't matching what the American schedule is, and those two will be just fine. You know what I mean? But like when you're looking at strength of schedule and things of that nature, when it comes down later down the road, that's going to be that's going to play a big part.
Yeah, that could be a determining factor, or maybe not a determining factor, but a factor, something in the conversation. If we have this kind of continues out, and you have you know, a top American team, a top MAC team, and we are talking about a potential G5 playoff bid. That's something that
Yeah.
may factor in for sure.
Yep, for sure.
And then the last note in this section, the most exciting part of the season, conference play. So, I feel like I root for my other conference. I don't want to call them friends or foes, but like other members in the conference. I feel like there's that tight bond during the out of conference play because you want everyone to do well. You want the conference to be rep. But once that window closes and it's time to start playing those conference games, like everyone becomes the enemy then. So now as we move to the middle part of the schedule, it's time for everyone to lock in the conference play. We'll still have a couple of out of conference games here and there, but man, it's gonna be fun to see the how these races start, and then obviously we'll be following them to see how they finish out.
You guys pick it like I have since the beginning of this, since season one. I've always like picked out a team and just kind of like followed them. And so, do you guys just follow a team just of interest to you and watch how they do throughout the season?
Yeah, I did it when I threw the dart at the wall with UTEP. I've been watching him. I've
Yeah,
been
that's
watching
I was just gonna say
UTEP.
that's my team this year. I'm super curious to see when they get in the Conference USA play how well they're gonna play.
That's my pick. That was my pick.
Yep.
During our preview show, I said Western Kentucky, because of course, and UTEP in the conference championship. So I've been watching UTEP. I've definitely been watching UTEP.
Yeah.
I'm can't say who I'm watching until we get closer to the end of the episode because you got to have the context for it. But yeah, I do. And then I it makes me watch them in real life too, which is nice when we're going along with the regular season. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool because like I see them playing in the game, but then I'm watching them play. So I actually watch a lot of mid-major G5, however you want to define it, action in college football in real life. So it's fun to see the guys perform well on the game and then it translating into, doing similar things in the actual games as well.
Listen, I'm a sicko just like you when it comes to the G5. I was so fired up after looking at this Conference USA Championship preview video they had on YouTube. I was fired up. I'm currently watching the Sun Belt Conference Championship right now, and James Madison is kind of struggling with Troy right now. So I know what you mean in real life. So I definitely follow these teams. And if it's a team or players I do like, I will follow them in real life and be like, hey, let's see what they're doing in real life. So, but yeah, UTEP is that team for me this season.
Yeah, same here. That's the one that I've kind of picked to be the follower of this season.
Well, Cross, you got you got to keep your fans happy. So
Yeah, Mr. Audible, Omaha, Mr. Omaha,
oh, I didn't know
Mr.
that.
Audible.
UTEP and USF are brothers.
Really?
Uh,
No,
That's gonna
that's
be a
not
that's gonna be a conversation for the DMs. I'll be following up with that
Oh
tomorrow
wow.
because
that.
I've got some questions. That's pretty cool. Have we had that in the NDL before? I know we've had father and son a couple times, but have we had brothers?
The Bearcoughs.
Oh my God, I
Yeah,
feel dumb. That's
yeah,
like the
yeah.
most
I was like,
obvious one. Wow. Wow.
like they're part of the media team, you
Take me
know.
out the loop. I totally blanked on that.
You
Wow.
know, I definitely watched the Portland Pilots just for one of them, you know, just to support.
Good God. I Mark, please forgive me. Wow. You know what, Vic? Yeah, you can go ahead and run the next segment. I need to put
Shout
myself in timeout right now.
shout out to Portland. They having a okay out of conference season right now. Hopefully, when they get in conference, they dominate. But the next the next game, the next part of the pod, I'm sorry, is we're gonna go into the game previews. The next portion was, talking about conference play and locking in, but we did already talk about that. So we're gonna go into the game previews for block three. The first game we have is Kennesaw State and Middle Tennessee. Now, both of these teams don't have a winning record. Both of them are 0-3, but they're looking for their first win of the season. What do you guys think is going to be the key to the game, and who do you have winning the game?
Um, I think the key to this game is the win, whoever gets it, and I would have to go with Kennesaw State. But the key to it is going to be the win because starting off 0-4, it's hard to come back from that.
That's the most perfect key you could ever have. Right there.
Yeah.
The key to
Yeah,
the game is to win.
it
Win.
is,
You
especially when
know?
you're 0-3. Somebody's got to win, right? So
Shout out to Herm Edwards. You play to win the game.
that's it. In an 0-3 game, and it's a conference game, you have to you need that win.
Ah, that is so true. This is a tough one to pick, and the reason being is Middle Tennessee is a very interesting team for reasons that I will share later, like towards the end of this episode. Um, I just it- it- I don't know what to I don't know what to go with in this situation because they have the better offense, but the offense hasn't been able to. Well, it's not the offense's fault. The, so we're looking at the defense, and I mean they've allowed almost 200 points in 3 games. They, I think, have the NDL record for most points allowed in a game. The game against Auburn. So it's on the defense. Like, hey, you guys are getting scholarships, right? Do we need to start cutting scholarships to get stops? So to me, the key to the game is Middle Tennessee's defense. Can they get off the field without giving up? Not even get off the field because they were doing that in the Troy game and it was just resulting in points anyway. Turnovers, getting off the field on third down, whatever. Can they string a couple of those together in this game? They're at home. I'll give them the nod because they're at home, but I'm looking solely at the defense. The offense isn't the problem. It's the defense. If they can bring out a C-minus game, maybe even a D-plus game with the way the offense is playing, that should be good enough, I would hope, to get a win.
Yep. Kennesaw State, they in 3 games they've given up 120 only 122 points.
Only
Still,
122 points.
I mean, if you're looking at
That's
122 points
that's
compared
about 40.
to
That's about 40 a game.
230,
That's about 40 a game. Both of them about 40 a game.
yeah, but he's played 4 games. Kennesaw State played 3, and he's given up 80, 100 and some more points, 108 points more in a game.
I
So
forgot.
I'm just saying, like, I get it, but it's going to be close, and I don't know if his defense can stop water, and it's not against him. It's you play with the players that you have, and when you're giving up that many points, it's gonna be pretty interesting.
You definitely question life if you can't stop Mother Nature. So,
Yeah, you know,
the next game we have up is Air Force and Hawaii. Again, two teams that are struggling at the first two blocks, but a win catapults them up in the standings of the Mountain West. Who do you guys got winning, and what do you feel like is the key to the game?
Doc, you can go first.
man, I don't know. Like this one's a tough one. I
You can go, you can go with old reliable, a win.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've already used that one, but it's just as important in this one too, right?
Oh
Like
yeah,
when you don't have a win, that win becomes super important in trying to get you off on the right foot in a conference game. Um, but Hawaii's playing some defense a little bit, looks like. Um, and Air Force, you know, they're 1-3. I'm probably gonna go with Hawaii and um, watch Jeff play some defense and maybe get some stops and get some points on the board. That's these ones are tough, especially because neither team has a win, and it is you know I look at the opponent record, and Hawaii's at 19-16. Air Force is 11-23. I'm going to go with Jeff and a win with that defense playing a little bit. Hopefully, that defense can play a little bit better, and he'll get a win.
Sammy?
Well, before I chime in on this game, I just want to give a shout out to. It's funny because he's my shout out in the shout out section. Chrome, I just saw the update. It was earlier in the episode, but he got his first NDL win
Nice.
over Georgia State, 55-42. So congrats on the win, Chrome. Um, this game is an interesting one for a couple of reasons. One, Air Force and that offense. So I don't know if anyone saw earlier in Block 2. I want to say it was I want to say it's right when it opened on Saturday. They played against Boise, and Boise played Inc. last season and got upset. And it looked like Air Force was about to be able, under a new coach, about to pull off back-to-back wins, seasons against Boise, but Boise was able to clutch it up at the end. It just goes to show that phone offense is so difficult to stop, and there's so many things you can do off of it in the passing game, and it seems from what I've seen between Air Force and Navy, a lot of the trouble has been being able to stop the pass. It's not the run. You still have to be disciplined and play that, but the passing game has been really lethal this season in comparison to what those two schools did last season. So my question is, will Hawaii be able to slow down the offense? They had a good showing defensively against Western Michigan. It didn't result in the win, but a little more confidence in that defense. And it is a unique offense to face at Air Force. The thing is, though, Jeff Daddy's been coaching at Hawaii for a while now. He's seen that offense. I'm sure he's seen a lot of variation within that offensive scheme as well. I just can't see Jeff starting out 0-5, so I'm going to go with Hawaii in this one.
Yeah.
I feel like the key is getting that option attack going for Air Force. Dub hasn't really gotten it going per se, but he needs to get it going. I got Jeff Daddy though in this one as well, and I got Kennesaw State in the first one. Next game we have will be James Madison versus Georgia Southern. Both of these teams have winning records. They're 2-1, and this is their first conference game. Uh, who do you see winning this one? We're just gonna go with that one. Who do you see winning this one? No keys here. Just who do you got winning?
I got Georgia Southern.
Say
Uh, man, this is a tough one. Normally, in a game that's close, I'd go with the home team, but something tells me the Glizzosaurus is going to get rolling in this one. I've got James Madison. Close game.
next game we have is Troy with the amazing offense so far. Their offense is hot so far. Versus South Alabama. This is their first conference game, I believe, against each other. So this would be a highly touted game, a very important game. Who do you guys got winning this game here?
I got Troy, um, pretty easily, I think.
Those are dangerous words. We're gonna get DMs again.
I, we may, but I just don't. I just think it's going to be. I don't know if South Alabama has what it takes to stop that offense.
I got South Alabama for that reason. All right. They'll let you know, hey, I'm with you, South Alabama. I'm with you.
um, I it's I want Big Ry to get a win so bad because he's a long time vet. Poor
Yep.
dude. So I want him to get his first win of the season, but I think it's not gonna come in this game. Man, Troy's offense put
Uh-huh.
up like 100 points, like almost 110 points last block. I Their offense is hot right now, and home or not, I I don't think South Alabama is going to be able to slow them down enough. I feel like they'd have to run the ball, but Troy has done a pretty good job of slowing down the running game and forcing teams to pass. I mean, when you're scoring, 40 points a game, it kind of does that too. But man, it's going to be a tall order for that South Alabama defense. They have to get the run game going. I don't think they'll be able to do it enough. So I got Troy.
All right. Next game up, we got Washington State, the Cougs, against NC State and homie. The Cougs trying to get that elusive Power Four victory, even though they ran from the ground in week 13. Uh, they're trying to get their second win of the season. And can NC State fully bounce back from that East Carolina loss? What are keys to this game? And who do you guys have winning?
Hmm.
I I don't see NC State losing this game. I think that they will do enough to win this game. It's going to be close, but I think I don't see them losing this game at all.
I'm kind of torn. The reason being is I know NC State has a more talented team. My question for NC State is can Smothers get the ball going? Hollywood gets going. It puts a lot of pressure on the Cougs defense. But the passing game, I I I don't know. I feel the passing game can do enough to offset a lesser rush attack by Hollywood. But the key thing that was rolling for NC State last season was the defense. And if you look at what they've allowed so far, you got 31, 41, and 37. So the offense hasn't been able to keep up with the defense or the holes in the defense, and the defense really has to lock in for NC State. Tim has done a good job offensively. He does a good job protecting the ball. And I feel
Yep.
like as long as he can move the ball down the field, the key for him will be finishing drives with six instead of three. If he can put the ball into the end zone and not have to settle for field goals, it's going to put the pressure on the NC State passing attack. And with a TD ratio of 6-6, I don't know. I I don't know if I don't know if I'd call it an upset. I know NC State lost earlier in the season and they're not ranked now. Still think highly of NC State and where they'll finish the season, but they're reeling right now. They're vulnerable, and Washington State has a big opportunity to get a dub here. I think that they're going to get it done on the road.
I think
I
I
think
think N- I think NC State is going to win. Sorry, Doc.
no, I was
I
just going to
think
say that I think that this game was in Pullman, they would definitely win this game. I think going to the road, going to NC State is going to be that's going to be the problem.
yeah, I was thinking the same thing. That is being in Raleigh, it's going to be difficult. But I got NC State coming out with the win. But Washington State needs to limit turnovers and force turnovers and able to get the win. Next and last but not least, we have South Florida taking on Charlotte. The Bulls team bouncing back. Can they bounce back from that close game that almost was an upset versus Tennessee? And can Charlotte remain undefeated? They already have a Power Four victory over Kentucky. What are the keys to the game for you guys, and who you have winning?
I have USF, and I think you said it at the beginning, is that they're battle tested, and I think they'll come back and win this game.
I think the key to the game is going to be slowing down USF's pass attack. I do not think Charlotte will be able to do that enough. I've got USF. I think they are going to pull away a late two-score win.
I got USF as well. Byron Brown is a beast, and that will be the difference in the game. Is him. He is him, and he will be the difference in the game.
He is super accurate. If anyone's watched USF, it feels like you're playing at times with, a top tier power four quarterback. He's been very accurate with the ball this season. If he can keep that up, oh man, that offense is going to be a headache.
All right, we got power ranking time. Power rankings, our top five. I'm gonna let Sammy go first, and you give us your top five, sir.
All right. Well, I'm not penalizing anyone for not having all of their games played yet because it's still early. I'm sure as we get into a role in December, we'll see those resumes start to build up. So right now, I have Washington State number one. I know they've only played one game. That's why I prefaced that right away. We'll see how they look over the next 10 days. I'm sure they'll be getting a couple of games in. I have Boise as number two. Yes, they had a very uncharacteristic loss to Utah. I think that I want to say the running back at 40 yards, 45 yards rushing. I cannot remember IROC having that few yards rushing in any game ever. So that was definitely an eye opener, but still a good resume. I have him sitting at second. Third, I have ECU. They have the ranked win over NC State, and they are undefeated. Number four, I have Buffalo, also undefeated, offense looking good. And number five, I have Southern Miss. Impressive win over App State, given where I expected App State to be at the end of the season. And he is 3-1, able to bounce back after a tough, close loss. He's reeled off three in a row. He is definitely very motivated to have a good season. So we'll see how he finishes up.
I had Boise and Washington State, ECU, Buffalo, and UConn, with Southern Miss a very close behind on that fifth one. And all the same reasons on Southern Miss. He's just playing really good. He's got some motivation. He's going to be a fun one to follow as well.
All right, that leaves me with my top five. I got ECU, East Carolina, undefeated, continue to be rolling. Got Washington State. This is going to be a prove it block with that NC State game for them. I got Boise, even though they had the loss to Utah, they're going to bounce back. They're 3-1. Feel very confident about them. Have Buffalo. Andy is impressing me with that running back. He's running the ball. Andy running the ball? What? And UTEP, of course. I've had them since the preview show. They are undefeated right now. He's going to continue his winning ways and keep it going all the way to the end.
And just to add, since you bring it up, I was the last one to do my top five, so I'm very bad at that. Sorry, but my honorable mentions that were close for me was like neck and neck between UTEP and Western Michigan.
I was thinking about Western Michigan, but I had chose Buffalo. I wanted to give Andy a shout out there. Like I said, he's been running the ball, which is different for him. So I wanted to go ahead and give him a shout out right there.
All right, and then I'll pose a question. Given your top five, which team not listed has the most to gain this block?
Southern Miss. Southern Miss. Yep,
Um,
not giving him any more motivation. Southern Miss.
Southern Miss,
Yep,
exactly.
yep, Southern Miss. Right there, buddy. Western Michigan as well. To be honest with you, Western Michigan and Southern Miss have a lot to gain in this upcoming block and could potentially be on all three of our top fives next week.
I got one a little bit off the radar, and it's because of the matchups that he has. And Charlotte is 2-0. We talked about his game against South Florida coming up, but he also has a game against Tutty and Fresno State this block as well. So a good showing in this block would go a long way to showing that he can be a contender in the American and maybe one of the powers in the G5 going forward this season.
Okay, all right. So, in speaking of shout outs, who are you guys' coach shout outs for the week?
Let me go first since you guys have the same one, unless you change your mind. My shout out is to Chrome, and more so now because he got a win. But I wanted to shout him out before because when I was looking through, I'm like, man, this guy is 0-3. That's rough. It's his first season in NDL. But then you look, he's 0-3 up until this last game, but he had scored 50 points twice and lost both games. Like that's insane to me that you would be able to score 50. Like so offensively, he gets it. He's got a good system going. He's just got to get a little bit more out of the defense. He was able to do it tonight, so congrats on getting your first win, sir. And hopefully the defense will, I don't even know how to describe it. Like just hopefully the defense will be better for you going forward. But yeah, it has to feel good to get that first one out the way. Hopefully you have many more coming in your NDL future.
Well, Doc, since me and you both have the same
Well,
coach.
I'll go with my second choice. I'll go with my second choice. So,
Okay. All right. All right. Go ahead. Go
um,
ahead.
okay, my second, the one that I want to give a shout out to is Cross, at UTEP. I think that he's got coming in at 2-0, and I think that he will continue to win those ways, and I'm excited to follow what he's doing.
Of course, I have multiple honorable mention shout outs before I shout out my main coach. Shout out to Duvid at Troy. Shout out to Wobbles at New Mexico. Shout out to Tutty at Fresno State. But my coach shout out of the week is definitely Big Red. Shout out to Big Red. We giving you your flowers back. We gave them to you, and then you shit the bed, and so we had to take them back. And now you proved us wrong. You were faithful, and now we got to give them back to you. And this is me giving them back to you. This is your flowers. We did underestimate you. Never again. I will not go on record underestimating you ever again. I do not want another F me so loud that the neighbors can hear me. Um, but you're doing good. You came out the first two blocks winning. You are 3-1. Shout out to you, and hopefully you can keep it going, and hopefully try to make an appearance in the Sun Belt title game like you did a couple years ago with Iowa, making the Big Ten title game. Hopefully you can you know, push through and make the conference title game again.
All right, Mr. Doc.
All right. So we got the awards chase here. So kind of got two quarterbacks, two running backs, two wide receivers. They kind of just stand out in what they're doing. Um, for our quarterbacks, Braylon Braxton, 1,465 yards, 12 touchdowns, one interception. Southern Miss. Malik Murphy at Oregon State, 1,340 yards, 15 touchdowns, seven interceptions. LJ Henderson from Buffalo, 789 yards and 11 touchdowns. Rayshawn Luke, Fresno, 567 yards rushing, nine touchdowns. CJ Smith from Memphis, 22 catches, 542 yards and eight touchdowns. And John Michael Gilliborg from Wyoming, the tight end, 32 catches, 419 yards and five touchdowns. So we're in the running for the Marshall Falk Award here. And so make sure you get your stats in as we go along.
Before you go, Vic, I just want you to know. So I have the stream chat open, and he is here. And NCX said, "Big Red Stream is the yin to a chip stream yang. Whereas there's light, there's dark." And Big Red said, "Let's fucking go, baby. You know
Of course he did. Of course.
it."
Of course. I wouldn't expect no other response other than that. None. No other response. Like I said, giving you your flowers back, sir. We giving you your flowers back. There you go. Keep pushing, keep winning, man. But it is time for the ball knower fact of the week. Now, we've had a lot of quarterbacks make a lot of starts and get a lot of wins and all that good stuff over the last, 10 years, I'll say. But do you want to know which quarterback has the highest win percentage of all time in college?
I
Can you
no.
take a guess? Can you take a guess what conference he played for?
I want to guess, but I don't want Mort to get mad at me. So I'm gonna guess a different conference and say the Big 12.
Why would Mort get mad at you? Because it's definitely not the Big 12.
I don't want to say that conference. I don't.
Did you say win percentage?
I said win percentage, and it's
Which
definitely not. It's definitely not the SEC neither. It's
Oh,
not the
thank
SEC
God.
neither.
it's got to be the Big Ten.
No, it is not. It is not
Wow.
the Big Ten. It is not the
Hold on. I'm thinking right now. Um, Mountain West, Boise State.
no. Do you guys give up or you want to
Man,
keep guessing?
I couldn't remember the quarterback's name either, but I was thinking about that. I'm honestly don't know.
And this is like forever time, right? This
This is
isn't modern
forever.
era.
This is forever. This
Jeez.
quarterback went undefeated. He never lost.
Did he only
Oh
start
no.
one game?
No, 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 no. He started three whole seasons. He started three whole seasons.
Wow.
and he is undefeated as a starter.
Yeah,
Does
I have
anybody
no
in the
idea.
chat do you have any answers from the chat before I say it?
No.
His name is Chuck Ely. He was the quarterback for Toledo out of the MAC.
Wow.
What?
He went 35-0 from 1969 to 1971.
NCX
He-
said, Googled it. Your grandpa wouldn't have gotten it.
no,
Wow.
no. The only thing I had to fact check was the years. I knew this. I knew like all the ball knower facts I give up. I know in my head. I just have to fact check to present, professional. Like I don't want to be out here giving you random shit and not fact checking. So the only thing I had to fact check was the years, and the years was 1969 through 1971. He led Toledo to three consecutive undefeated seasons. He is 35-0. You can only tie him. You cannot beat him.
Wow.
He won three MAC titles and they won three Tangerine Bowls.
Hmm.
He is in the College Football Hall of Fame.
Wow. I would have been here all night with me guessing. I never would have guessed Toledo.
Not in a million years.
Yeah, yeah. Now I think the guy you were referencing was Kellen Moore, right? For Boise. I think he's up there,
Yeah.
but I think he's top five or right outside the top five. But he was up there, but no.
I was so sure of it too. Like when it popped in my head, I'm like, ooh, Boise. Because when it wasn't SEC, because I was thinking Oklahoma or Florida. That was my first thought. And then
That damn show wasn't Florida. I can tell you that now.
I was thinking, like my first thought was Oklahoma, but I was just trying to think like a stretch of winning championships in a row. But then
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking like, but maybe it's not that. Maybe it's a G5 team that just plays really well and just dominates. So that's why I thought of Boise. 'Cause that's the only one that I can like that I knew has sustained success for a bit. But I couldn't remember
Mm-hmm.
how many losses. But yeah, I can't beat a blown undefeated.
I think Kellen had like four. If I wanna if I wanna be honest with you, I think he had like 4 or 5 total losses. He went like 53-4 or something like that.
Uh,
So he was
that's
close,
right.
but
Yeah, can't
you're
be
not
perfect.
you can't be perfect and you can't beat Chuck Ely, who
Yeah, he
went
won 50 and
undefeated.
3. Kellen
50
Moore
and
did.
3. Yeah,
Yeah.
50-3. There we go. I was close. See? Close.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I think it's someone else from G5 from the last like 25 years that's like in the top 5 or 10 in winning percentage as a quarterback, starting quarterback. But um, yeah, Chuck Ely, 35-0, 3 years,
Wow.
never be topped.
Oh my God. Don't know how to respond to that. That's just very like that. I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Well, just some closing thoughts. Since we were talking about Chrome getting his first win, it was hard to do it because, I know people did it in the chat when it happened, but kudos to Coach Drew Baca for getting his first one of the season. He said
Yes,
on his
sir.
he said on his pod that he's going 4-8, at least 4-8. So he's a quarter of the way there. I'm watching you, sir, but congrats on the win. Always happy to see him add to the win column. And of course, shouting out pirate flag for this week in the NDL. So man, those videos are so funny.
If you hadn't watched those videos, please watch those videos. Those videos are hilarious.
NTX said that's what they call throwing the ball, chucking it. I could see that then. Um, so I just have a closing question before we end the show. Because I know this was highly talked about on like before Thanksgiving or right after. I don't remember when it was because I was just whatever. But how do you guys feel about turkey? I just want to ask. I'm not gonna say anything. I just want to know how you guys feel about turkey.
The story.
How do we feel about what?
Turkey, Thanksgiving.
Oh, I can do with or without it. I'm a ham guy myself, so
I'm not gonna argue with you at all, Vic. I know you would
I'm
like
I'm
to
I'm a
comment.
I'm a turkey person. I like deep fried turkey most of all. I like deep fried turkey. Um, when that's done right, it's nothing better than it. But I'm not like I kind of said in the live chat on Thanksgiving. I'm not opposed to doing different, like cooking different food, not the traditional Thanksgiving food. I'm not opposed to people cooking, different food or going different from the norm. That's okay. I've went different from the norm a few times during Thanksgiving. So, but I am a turkey person. Like I said, I love deep fried turkey. Had turkey this Thanksgiving. Turkey was the shit, and it was very good. And definitely had a turkey sandwich that Friday. So for leftover,
nothing beats leftovers.
nothing, nothing beats leftover.
We are all in agreement on that. Well,
What's
pre-
you what's your guys' favorite Thanksgiving dish though? What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
hmm,
If done right, mashed potatoes.
Mashed potato. Really? All right. Sammy?
I'm trying to stay away from dessert. I'm trying to think of like an actual food. Um,
No, I mean Thanksgiving food could be a dessert too. Like, I mean, you got sweet potato pie, pecan pie, stuff like that.
I'd have to say sweet potato pie.
Okay. I'm a
You?
dressing person. I'm a dressing person. I love dressing. Oh my god. I love dressing.
Okay. I'm now I just have to add something because it just popped in my head. So, um, when I was out in California, I would eat Thanksgiving. I'd go to my grandma's house and like everybody would go there for Thanksgiving. But after she passed, then I just stayed down in San Diego. And my best friend out there, he's married, he's got kids. They would invite me over for Thanksgiving. And this food gets a ton of hate. I've only had hers, his wife, so I can't comment on it, but I feel like casseroles are like very either you like it or you hate it, but man, she makes a mean green bean casserole, and that was my favorite thing to eat over there.
Oh, I loved it when I think I said this before to you or in chat. When my grandma was still alive, my grandma on my dad's side, she would make strawberry cake from scratch. Oh
Mm.
my
Yeah, you told me about that because you made me immediately go eat ice cream, that strawberry ice cream. So I just start eating
Oh,
that right away.
when I tell you the best cake, oh God, I miss it so much. That that was the highlight of Thanksgiving. I swear it was with the strawberry icing. Oh, strawberry on strawberry, strawberry cake, strawberry icing. Oh
Now I'm hungry.
God.
Yes. Very well. It's good to get back together with you guys after the extra break. Refresh, at least in video game form, if you're not in, it's the holiday season, so depending on where you work, it could be a good thing or a bad thing. It means that things are lightening up because it's the end of the year, or it's ramping up because it's the end of the year. So whichever it is, hopefully December is off to a good start for you all. Appreciate everyone watching or listening, however you want to define it. And good luck to everyone in Block 3 when it opens, finally getting some new action going. I not sure if Drew and Beer Cop are going to be on tonight, but shout out to them if they are. Make sure that you check the notifications so you can catch them when they go live. But for sure, Game Day will be live tomorrow, and Block 3 is coming. Have a good night, and man, it's gonna feel weird to be actually playing the game again.
Yeah, it is. It's meaningful football, It's gonna be we all three haven't played it in about 2 weeks, so it'll be interesting.
Definitely looking forward to it. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, same man.
And I'll be looking forward to it. My defensive players, I don't know about them. I'll have to ask them.